So, after not making any videos in the car for a while, and a few of my students asking about them, I thought I'd make a little explanation for myself, because these videos are for me, not for anybody else. Then why do you post them on the internet? Because it's a nice place to archive everything where you can always access it. It's early spring now, which means that as soon as winter ends, people start thinking about summer. I don't know whether or not they've earned the right to think about summer, to be honest. Probably not. Taking everything for granted as usual. Anyway, one of the reasons why I stopped making videos in the car was very simply there were problems with the car. First of all, the engine cut out a number of times, which my friends assure me is because I've got a French car. I'm sure that's not exactly the reason. At least I hope that's not exactly the reason. And then the engine started making noises. And now I've got the problem with one of the lights. It's just been constant problem solving exercises. It seems to me that as I drive down this road in the morning, I have to pass lots of cars which are parked at the side of the road with people standing outside the car smoking cigarettes. Not just like smoking. Smoking. Right. Isn't that odd? I mean, why would you want to get up early, get in your car, drive somewhere, stop halfway and get out of the car and have a cigarette? Why would you want to do that? What could ever make the need so desperate for a cigarette that you'd have to stop the car, get out of the car and smoke? If it's not just one person, it's always a group of people. Secondly, there's usually quite a lot of people standing at the side of the road relieving themselves, which is a clear sign they spent last night in the pub. Anyway, the snow is melting off the mountains. Forests are capturing their colour. But people can't walk anymore. Look at it, people just can't walk anymore. They're walking around with one stick in each hand. They need sticks to help themselves walk. Normal people need sticks to help themselves walk now. This is the Twilight Zone. This is just bizarreness incorporated. So this morning's rant is about standards. Standards. We tend, as a society, to expect other people to conform to standards that we wouldn't accept. Within our own lives. What I mean by this is we search for restaurants with good food that's better prepared than we have at home. We look for cafes with cleaner environments than we would have in our own home. We're attracted to images of things better, healthier, stronger than ourselves, when we really ought to focus on ourselves first. For example, it's April. Really, it's April already. It's April and my neighbour still has Christmas lights on his Christmas tree. And he is supposedly the director of a hotel. This is his standard for his own home. Oh, and I also noticed that there's a model Santa standing outside his front door. And this is not just this year, he did this last year as well. What do I care? I don't. Except it's a sign that other people don't care. They just don't care. Whenever I make a video, I sneeze. What is that? An allergy to the sound of my own voice, perhaps. So it's really frustrating to make these observations in the world around about. And I spoke to the neighbour about it before, and he said, "Oh, it's great." He said it's great because he doesn't have to take the Christmas lights down or do anything. Because less is more, yeah. Of course, less is never more, because less leads to less, more leads to more. It's quite simple, really. The less you do, the less you can do, the less you will do. The more you do, the more you can do, the more you will do. it's simple. The small elements, the small problems are always symptomatic of bigger problems. Always symptomatic of bigger problems. People will tell you people don't change, and that's fair enough, but search for the symptoms of the problems. The little things give you clues what to expect, what's going to happen. One second away from smashing your car into a lorry. It's a strange green light. Look, here's an example. I asked my partner to keep a bottle of water, a bottle of mineral water in the house because I get really thirsty a lot. I get dehydrated. And health is wealth, and not drinking enough water is one of the main reasons that can cause illness. And it's like every month there's a situation where there's no bottle of water. But what are the choices? Take care of things yourself? Well, I can't because I'm not at home when I'm at work, so I don't know what's happening. Why is this important? This is important because you can't check everything. You can't ask. You can't ask other people to do 1,000,001 things, but you can ask them to take care of one thing which is important to you. And you can see how they will respond to that one thing. I'm not explaining this very well, so here's another example. In the 1980s, there was an American rock band called Van Halen. Their singer was a man called David Lee Roth. When bands go on tours, they have something called a rider. I wonder where that term came from. And on the rider is a list of all the band's requirements and needs. Everything from technical specifications right through to personal requests. You know, everything from the types of cables and amplifiers, what they expect from the sound man, to the food, the accommodation, fridge full of beer for some of them. Now, Van Halen were a really technical band, and so the technical specifications and requirements were huge, and it was a classic problem that concert organizers and promoters would just say yes, 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 and not provide what they promised. And it was impossible for the band to check everything because you're on tour. You're going from town to town, and you have to wake up, travel, get to a place, set up everything, play a concert, bleed your heart out for the world, and then move on. And so you can check everything until the last minute. So David Lee Roth, realizing this, put some very odd things on the tour rider. And according to the story that I heard, one of these things was a bowl of chocolate sweets. I can't remember what it was, whether it was M&Ms or Smarties or something like that. It was a bowl of coloured chocolate sweets or candies with one of the colours removed. And the reason for this madness was not that the band had gone insane and thought that they could order the world. It was because all David Lee Roth had to do was to go to this bowl of sweets or candies and check if that one colour had been removed. And he knew that if that one colour had been removed, somebody had paid attention to all of the details on the band's tour rider, and that everything would be okay, and he didn't need to go and check the amplifiers and the cables and the mics and the mixing desk and the monitors and the lights, etc., etc. It was a pretty intelligent response, really. So, genius, in fact. And so that's how the details are symptomatic of a greater problem. What happens when we get sick as people? We start to notice that there are initially small changes in our body. Maybe we get a rash on our skin. Maybe we get a pain in our chest. Maybe we just don't feel right, which is a smaller symptom of a much larger problem. And you can see these things everywhere. Of course, there's false presentation. False presentation is when you want to make something appear to be better than it actually is, and that exists all throughout society. You know, the way that people dress. Not that it's bad to dress nice, of course it's not. Look good, feel good. The kinds of cars that people have, it's interesting. It's an interesting situation. I mean, the car is a projection of where you're from, your ideas about life. An example of success in many cases. I don't think that there's not really a greater symbol for projection at all in life, which is why cars are such a huge industry. And it's far more important in terms of projection than things like houses, because you can't do much, do that much with the house. You can't really move it or exchange it that easily, or as easily as you can a car. But people will put far more time, energy, and effort into their car than they will most other things in their life. Their education, for example, their children, for example. Yes, good morning. Smoke a cigarette. Fill your lungs up with black tar. Screw tomorrow, over today. So it's worth remembering that if you look for the small things, you will in fact see the larger picture of everything. As long as you're not being fooled by the simple illusions. So hopefully this will count as the first video in a new series. As long as my French car doesn't fall apart. There's no guarantee of that. Dude, it done.